Hello, welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, welcome again. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You've all had the experience that the more clarity and happiness you feel, the more fabulous you feel, the more in tune you are with who you are. So that's where your strength lies. Let's get started with the video.
If you were really just enjoying the vibration, which is the healthiest place for you to be, then it wouldn't matter to you. So in this continuum of the thought that is just beginning to turn to the thing and the thought that has turned all the way to the satisfying thing, if you really were mostly exhilarated about the feeling of it, then you really wouldn't care where you are in the continuum of it becoming, because things are unfolding, and you don't have to be all the way there in order to feel good. That's the first time that we've ever said that, and it matters a lot. Think about it. So if you're happy on your way, then you're living life just as you intended. If you're unhappy on your way, or comparing on your way to something that is more happy, then you're hindering yourself just a little bit. So you might say to yourself, what difference does it make how close to the manifestation I am if I'm having fun on my way to the manifestation? And we would really like it. We've been talking to you all for years about this. We would like it if you could take the manifestation all the way out of the equation. But then you think that what we're trying to get you to do is just be happy and never mind about the stuff you want. And that isn't what we mean at all. We mean you'll get the stuff you want by being happy without it. You say, oh, Abraham, I don't want to be happy without the stuff I want, because won't the universe say, oh, they're happy without the stuff they want, so don't give them the stuff they want? No, it doesn't work like that. If you're happy without the stuff you want is coming. But if you're unhappy about the stuff you want, then the stuff you want can't come.
Anything I ever dreamed of affording came to me without me having the resources, the money to pay for it.
It's really a wonderful thing when you do not try to dictate the vortex through which your well-being comes. When you don't assign a condition or a process to be the carrier of something that you want, but you open to the larger universe and all of its resources. Appreciate when it's easy to appreciate. And don't try to make yourself appreciate something that you're not naturally appreciating, because that falls into the category of efforting, and then it works against you. So let's say that there are 5 things you want, and 3 of them you have and 2 of them you don't have. Well, don't work on the 2 you don't have, just appreciate the 3 you do. And by appreciating the 3 you do, the other 2 will come into alignment. But if you pretend that you're appreciating the 2 that you're not really appreciating, you can't control the perspective of others to whom you are being an example. They all come with their own vibration. And so if you're trying to perform in a way that is getting pleasing results from them, then you're asking of yourself something that you can never accomplish, which is controlling their response. Right. You see, you got to just let that go and care about your alignment, period. That's easy to accomplish. Alignment with them, really not easy or possible.
I have a ex-business partner that I just haven't been feeling right about things. I've tried to correct.
For a reason, huh?
Yeah. And we've tried different things, and I've decided, you know what, for this year, I just need to let it go. Just let it be away from me for a little while. And recently he's wanted to go on a trip with some of my best friends that he didn't even know, just through me. And I was asked the question of whether or not I was okay with that. And my problem was, my initial thought or feeling was no. But I give myself a hard time with saying no, because who I want to be is a person who is not ego-driven and would accept.
We don't want you to be ego-driven. We want you to be alignment called. There's a difference between being driven and being inspired. And so when you realize that you've put it all in your vortex, and now your vortex is calling you to it, when you think about what you're inclined to say yes to and what you're inclined to say no to, don't let that be a bad thing to not feel like you want to say yes to something. It isn't. That's like saying, I'm going to get on the highway, and even though there are these lines that represent lanes, I don't want to be guided by that, so I'm going to drive all around. And we say, that's fine, except nobody else really understands that, and it's going to make a lot of trouble in your world. So sometimes it's helpful to think about what you're saying yes to, because every subject is really 2 subjects, wanted and unwanted. And so you can softly just say, what I really want is, when the impulse to say no comes up, no, I don't really want to do that, if you justify all the reasons you don't want to do that, you activate all that old stuff, which is now present now, which now is affecting every relationship you have. And that's why you wisely and intuitively know that's not the way to go about it. So if you say, well, what is it that I want to say yes to? That softens it, first of all, and then you can think about what it is you really like. Well, I really like being with my friends, and I really like the easiness that we all have together. And one of the reasons that we like to be together, what I'm saying yes to, one of the reasons that we like to be together is that we are, for the most part, on the same wavelength. And this is a vacation, which means it's a rest or respite for us. And so it's something where I really want relaxation. I really want something. I don't want to work at it. I really want relaxation about it. I really want to have fun. I want to feel easy about it. Whenever you feel negative emotion, it always means the same thing. Negative emotion means you've got a point of view that varies from the point of view that the source within you has. Right. So for example, even as you look back on that relationship and the trauma of it and the discomfort of it, yeah. as you're saying, well, I just left in anger and screw you and I didn't need that. All of that anger is because the source within you isn't feeling any of that, because the source within you is feeling only appreciation for your opportunity to expand. Right. And this is the thing that's so interesting about interpersonal relationships with everyone. If you could see everyone that you share your planet with as someone who is an opportunity for you to sharpen your preferences, which means sharpen your expansion. And then you could make what they're doing and how they're being, whether it's good or bad, whether it's wonderful or awful, if you could let that then be irrelevant while you then turn your undivided attention toward your relationship with your expansion, you would be joyful, 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 joyful immediately. Are you following that? Let us spell it out just a little more carefully. So you're having a relationship with someone, and for whatever reason, it's not working for you. You feel maybe they're picking on you, maybe they're not behaving in a way that pleases you, whatever. There's tension and frustration and anger and discord, a dysfunctional relationship, and you're struggling within it. So as you're having this relationship, and yet you're determined, till death do us part, I made a promise, I made a commitment, I don't want to go down, I don't want another breakup, I don't want to give up half my stuff. So you dig in and you stay anyway, even though it's not pleasant. But here's the good news in all of this. So in all of that, knowing what you don't want, you're launching these rockets of desires. So the person is rude, you want them to be nicer. You're rude, you want to be nicer. You feel inferior, you want to feel confident. You feel confused, you want clarity. You feel not enough of something, you want more of it. In other words, it's just this constant expanding experience. So that rascal who harassed you into expansion is also the rascal that seems to be the reason you're not having it. Because it's so vivid. You keep looking at it and fighting over it and thinking about it. The discord you feel is because you're not letting yourself have the solution. That's the thing that we so want you to hear. In other words, let's say that you're sick, and in your sickness you've got a problem. You say it's problematic to be sick. I don't feel good, and it's a problem to be sick. It could kill me. So in that sickness, you are launching rockets of well-being. So vibrationally speaking, you're weller than you've ever been. And you think that you are worried or frightened because you're sick. You're not worried or frightened because you're sick. You're worried or frightened because you're not keeping up with your expansion. You see what we're getting at? The expansion is calling you and you're not going. That's what negative emotion is. The expansion is calling you and you're not going. That's what anger is. The expansion is calling you. In other words, this relationship that caused this expansion is now irrelevant and doesn't mean diddly squat. Right. You don't have to think about it anymore unless you think about it in the way your inner being thinks about it, which was wonderful times, caused so much expansion, so much opportunity to grow. Those who come to you are a vibrational match to you. That's why they come to you. And out of it is born the clarity of who you are. And If you just let your constant awareness be that you want to keep up with you,
Right.
then what keeps happening is you just keep finding that vibration, and then you find the happiness that you were talking about earlier. You don't find, and we want to be very gentle as we say this, because we're not talking about your relationships not being wonderful, but your key to your happiness is not finding another person who makes you happy. The key to your happiness is any old ornery person in the world that causes you to expand, and you figuring out how to keep up with your expansion. In other words, some of the most tumultuous relationships cause you the greatest expansion. And when you take the expansion, you feel wonderful, and you wouldn't have felt that good or been that much if it hadn't been for the tumultuous relationship that caused you to grow. But you've got to stop giving the credit or the blame to the other person in the relationship and take full responsibility. What we just said to you is there's only one relationship for you to keep your eye on, and that's the relationship between you and your vortex, or between you and who you really are. And when that's what matters most, then you find yourself more in the frequency of the vortex at that higher vibration, where you then are able to see the world through the eyes of source. And when you do that, then you see the beauty in every one of those people who you've been interacting with. It's possible for you to come together in a relationship, and it's natural that it's the relationship that comes because you are a vibrational match for one another, otherwise it wouldn't be there. And then in the relationship, for you both to launch rockets of desire, and for you both to keep up, so that your relationship that is manifested grows with you as you both grow.
Time flies, and we've reached the end of today's video. We hope you had a wonderful time with us. Please share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. It means a lot to us. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Abraham Esther Hicks teachings. Thank you and good luck.